All right, so I'm joined here today with the Boxing 5 promoter Larry Wainstein, and exciting news. I know it's not the news that people are going to expect, which is even better and exciting. I'll let you do the formal announcements of what's happening here.
Yeah, sure. You know, it's always one thing about us. You know, we made an announcement, and we hate to sort of not let people know what's going on, because we're now getting close to the date, and obviously there's a lot of talk going on social media. There's a lot of talk going on behind the scenes, and everybody knows everybody's business except the people who are involved in it, you know. But we've now come down to the nitty-gritty, and this is what it's about. The announcement is to actually tell the public officially, from Boxing 5's point of view, what is happening on the 24th, which was set for Carnival City, with Carnival Cafu defending his WBO title. What has happened, he's been offered the unification fight, you know, so of him fighting Bam Bam Rodriguez in Dallas, Texas, on July the 19th. So that's been put into place. Contracts are signed, and it's so obviously that fight falls away from the 24th, but we continue with the tournament. The tournament will continue, but let's talk about the signing of the contract. I mean, you know, Boxing 5, no doubt management, Colin and I and our partners, we do what's right for the boxers. It's not about what's right for us, what's right for the boxers. And being offered, and everybody's got an opinion. Oh, he's not ready for this fight, he's done this. When he went to Japan, we had the same thing. I mean, I think he'll prove a lot of people wrong. And I'm not saying he's going to come back and he's going to take the title, but I think he's going to put up a hell of a show and put him on the world stage, which he deserves to be. And very excited about it. To think that Boxing 5's fighters have been given an opportunity to fight for the unification weight world title, you know, and with a guy that's rated in the top 10 weight for weight, pound for pound fighters in the world. You know, that I think puts everyone off, but they don't look at records. And I think if you look at records, Cafu's had 13 fights. You know, his knockout records are unbelievable. Not that we say he's going to knock him out. All we hope is he represents and he does well.
Yeah, it is a bit like the last fight. I mean, a lot of people wrote him off of the Tanaka fights as well. I mean, they gave him no chance, and here we go again with Bam Rodriguez.
Yes. Yeah, you know, so they want to unify that weight, and the other unification fight is taking place. So once that fight was signed, and they kept talking about they want a unification for Bam Rodriguez. Colin said, we have to be in the mix. How are they going to do it without us? You know, and that's what I love about him. He's always, he gets excited about it and say, look at this, we him as a chance, you know. And this time it's the zone is doing the promotion, and obviously we want to thank our partners, and we want to thank Mr. Honda, who's been part of it, and really giving him the opportunity. As people might know, Mr. Honda had the option on Cafu, and which was fantastic, but he's been working with Colin and I, and this is what's come of it, you know. So all we can say is, wait, what a place to be with one of your fighters.
100%. So I think the way that things are working around the world now, Carnival Cafu is really in the right place at the right time. I mean, financially, this will change his life completely. That's got to be making you really happy.
You know, when you look at the things the comments that we make, through boxing, we look to change lives. And you can't do it, you know, how do you change lives? You can change lives by making sure they are financially stable for the lifetime. And that's what this is about. This is a lifetime changing experience that will put him somewhere where he wants to be, and he can hold his head up high. You know, and besides that, having the security and making sure that he looks after what he earns and it goes in the right places. You know, it doesn't get squandered on nonsense. But he's a dedicated, sort of, how can I say, level-headed, dedicated fighter. And I think youngsters need to look at this boy and say, this is what it's about. This is you, if you want to be a champion. And I always said this, people call just any boxer champ. Not everyone's a champ. You know, they aspire to be a champ. But this guy is definitely now going to be, he deserves the right. He is a WBO champion, you know, and fighting on that world stage where he's going to be fighting in front of a massive crowd, and it's Bam Rodriguez's home crowd. Can't have a better way to go into the devil's home and take him on. Why not? Why not? You know?
And you into the biggest, I'd say still the biggest market in the world, which is the United States market. It's something that a lot of South African boxers, as of late, have not been able to crack.
Yeah.
He's going to be going there, but obviously it's a massive fight. Let's put it this way: if Cafu manages to pull this off, it could be one of the biggest upsets in a long time for a boxer.
It will definitely be. All I'm saying is, like what I've always said to my guys that have gone overseas to fight: put up a good show. It keeps you in the mix. There you have Lorato. He put up a good show. He's in the mix. Now you bring him back. You can get him back. The title fight. You know, that's what it's about. Look at Hecky. How many times Colin brought him back? So that's what it's about. This isn't going to be his last fight. You know, no matter what happens. This is just the beginning. I mean, he's still young. He's still, as a fighter, he's inexperienced with fights. Yet, he's experienced with his ring craft.
100%. Well, let's go over to the date that he was initially supposed to fight on a homecoming. Now it's going to change, but the tournament still stays on. Could you give us a little bit of an insight into what's going to happen on May 24?
Sure. So let me tell you, we've been working for about 6 months with Carnival City, wanting to take boxing back to Carnival City with Mike and his team, with his team at Carnival, and we were planning this tournament at Carnival. Now, to go to him and say, well, sorry, it's off, it's not our style, you know, but we've been talking and kept him in the loop, and the tournament goes on, and, you know, we want to put on a show, a boxing show. So we were planning, what we were doing is waiting for things to happen, but in the meantime, we were doing a plan B, just in case. And now we got to go to plan B, which I don't think is it's not a world title defense homecoming. But this is also, I think, just the fights that we're putting on and the boxers we've got earmarked for this. We're putting on 3 intercontinental title fights with 3 of our top up-and-coming fighters. You know, we've got Cats. We know that one's he's going to be fighting Lucky Hablani, which is the one fight that I can talk about. The other 2 are earmarked to do also IBF or not IBF, but intercontinental title fights. So that's 3 title fights for these youngsters. And then we've got our world ranked fighters on. We've got Lorato Domini, and we've got Sequence Nakatoli. And then we've got Josh and Daron bringing up on the ball to make it, to end it off, because there's 7 fights. But I mean, if you see the lineup that we're putting on, it actually, we think it's fitting for it to be at Carnival City, because that's going to be, we're going to use Carnival for a lot of other tournaments. And we look forward to working with the team from Carnival. They're very excited, as we are. And that's what we're looking forward to. You know, I mean, that when you look at that, it's a massive tournament on its own.
What do you think of boxing 5's progression now? Because now the belts are starting to come. We have done a belt in the past, but you know, these are intercontinental titles. This is moving on to another stage. Not just is it 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, as you're saying.
Correct.
What does it mean to you?
Well, if you ask me, we've done this coming week is our 14th tournament. So if you ask me when we started out, in 2 years' time, do you think you would have traveled to Japan and come back with the world champion, and 2 months later you're going to be traveling to Dallas, Texas to go and do a unification title fight? What does it mean? You know, it's been absolutely unbelievable. It's been nightmare stuff, because we were planning a homecoming, a title defense, which isn't small potatoes. That's a big tournament to plan, and we've had to, in the meantime, plan something just in case, which is now coming into fruition. We're not just saying, oh, sorry, it's off. You know, boxing fans will still be treated to a tournament that's way sort of above just the normal average fighters. This is going to be massive, and again trying to change lives for the youngsters. I mean, Ketlejo's 10-0. I mean, and he's and then we've got Frank Sotomelo is the other one that we're looking at, and obviously we've got Ishmael Kadri. Now those three alone on one bill, it speaks for itself with Lorata and with Sequence. I mean, if you look at that, so yeah, you know, we've got to we planned ahead. What is it? It's been a lot of sleepless nights because dealing with the zone and Mr. Honda is not done during the normal times of the day, because even though the zone is based specifically in the UK, they in the States, they in all over the show, and you're dealing with the guys global, and this is what it's about, you know. So it's been sleepless nights, it's been what if, and do this, and if that, and people asking what's happening, and you don't want to make a commitment, but you've also got to make plans, you know. So we've learned a lot. You've got to be on top of your game, and we just very excited. It just gives Boxing 5, and again, we're not competing with anyone. I mean, we don't compete, and we just what's good for boxing, and that's boxing is looking to going forward, and it's fantastic, you know. But we got to do what's best for our fighters.
I want to talk about going forward, because obviously they are the fighters that you just mentioned there that are going into the next phase of their career, which is becoming, you know, title contenders. And then you got Sequence and Lorato, who are both, they've already held belts, and you know, they've seasoned. These fights for them, I mean, this is literally going to also steer them in another direction, maybe to go back internationally again, and you'll be traveling a lot more.
Most definitely they will be traveling a lot more, because, you know, we aren't, and I've heard everybody talking about it, and I've heard the minister talking about purse money and that, but whether we like it or not, we're not in a position to pay the guys what they're able to pay overseas, because they get given money for their content. We can't even, everybody wants it for nothing, and the content helps you with the purse money. So if you don't have the content, you can't sell the content, suddenly you've got to have sponsors, and they fall few and far between. I mean, you know, we've got a few sponsors. I mean, you know, there's a world champion that the guys they were sponsoring the Cafu and one other boxer. We were grateful for it, and then suddenly they said, you know what, we've done our bit, thanks very much. You know, so now you start again. But we're not concerned. We just got to keep going, because we can't rely and say, well, this is what we're going to rely on. But we can't afford to pay our boxers big purses. Can't afford to, you know. So and that's why when overseas knocks on your door and says, listen, you stand up and you say when and how, you know, and which is not the case in this. I've got to say, you know, one thing about my partner, and a lot of the Jewish guys will know what I'm saying when you talk about chutzpah. When a contract comes and they say this is it, and my partner will say, well, what about a bit extra? And I'm going, oh my gosh, Colin, just leave it. Just where can we sign? And it works. They come back and they respect you for that, because they show you not just bending over backwards, you know. And that's what people need to learn and understand. Our boxers are worth just as much as any boxers overseas in a certain category. Let's not kid ourselves. You've got to get there. But when you get there, don't be humble, and don't be scared to ask what he's worth.
I think Colin will detail his story about chutzpah with Mr. Honda one day. People will understand the whole story as to how they formed a relationship and how they are today, and how Boxing 5 is also could be going abroad as well. I mean, this is huge, because you mentioned overseas knocking on the door. I mean, you are literally enabling boxers, giving them the platform to be able to shoot and see the stars and go overseas. I mean, that's literally what it's been providing so far. Is Boxing 5 has given the opportunity to these guys, and I'm sure, as you said, Frank, Katz, Ishmael, they're going to be seeing the stars one day as well.
Yeah, please God, they are. I mean, you know, and as you say, you know, you've got you start off as a 4-rounder, start off as a 6-rounder. The quicker you can get them through the 4-rounders, the quicker you can get them into the 6-rounders, the quicker they can grow, and actually you can get to see how good are they and where do they fit in in the category of fighters, and that's what you got to try and do.
I want to get through that as well, because we've seen fighters that, and as you said, between the 4 and the 6 rounds, you can see now already who do you want to take on this journey and who do you not want to take, and then you know guys drop off and guys continue the journey. I mean, for you so far, I mean, it's been 14 tournaments in. You've developed quite a fair amount of talent, but also some people have also fallen off on that journey as well.
Yeah, they do. One thing about us, we take the fighters on, but if they don't have certain characteristics, you're wasting your time.
Right.
And you when I say wasting your time, you're wasting fights on some fighters that don't deserve the time and the effort, and you've got those that are dying to do it, and they fit in with your ethos of Boxing 5, dedication, clean living, and that's what it's about, and it's not just about taking a fight and giving a guy. You got to bring them on, and you got to bring them on through the 4 rounds, the 6th round, and when you start testing them, and if they come through those tests, that's when you know, okay, now we've got something to work with. Now let's see where we can take them.
We'll see a whole bunch of new talents emerging. Even this year, we've seen a whole bunch of new talents emerging. I see you got the Tokyo hat on again. Maybe you're going to get a Dallas or something for the next one.
Well, this hat has got, as you know, it's got history. And when we talk about Cafu, this is my hat. Him and I, we went and bought it together. He said that's what you need to buy, and I bought it. And he's got his hat and he's got his memorabilia from staying at the Tokyo Dome, where we walked before the fight and after the fight. And please God, this time going to Dallas. I don't know if my head is big enough for those Dallas cowboy hats.
Yeah, big cowboy hats. Yeah. Well, let's see. Maybe for the memories, could be one of those ones. But Larry, I just wanted to obviously say congratulations for you guys again, just for getting this one over the line. It's a massive one for South African boxing, not only just for Cafu. This is the biggest fight in years that I can remember being announced.
No, it is, and it's an honor and a privilege to be part of it. It really is. When you think we started out and our first international experience was Laduma.
Yeah.
And we've come a long way from that. We've learned, and it's and he's part of this whole journey with Boxing 5, and it just shows you that a lot of times you would have thought let's give up, but you can't. I mean, you've got all these people relying on you, so we just got to keep going.
100%. You've got the Miracle Man, Laduma Lamati, and you've obviously got more miracles coming through, the likes of Pumbulela Kapa. I mean, a man from Eastern Cape that's living the dream now. Let's put it that way.
He is living the dream, and he deserves it, because he is such a humble, respectful, appreciative. We don't want all the fighters, and I sometimes say, guys, and the boxers have this thing, thank you so much. I said, we're doing it because we want to do it, we want to change lives. So it's not about me standing doing talks and doing this and walking around, I'm Boxing 5. It takes a team, like I always say, it takes a team. You've got Riaz, you've got obviously Laduma, you've got Tiny at Boyson's. When he went to camp, she used to feed him and feed Senakosi there, look after him. To them, they take them on as family, and that's what it's about. This kid left home, and look what he's got, and he deserves it, or everyone deserves it if they put in the right sort of the attitude, and they give up what they give up the good life, and they deserve to get what they put in.
Well, he's the WBO champion, looking to unify the super flyweight division. Well, one of the belts, WBC.
The WBC, yeah.
So that'll be a massive one. Larry, just lastly, do you want to give any thank yous, any shout outs?
As always, I've got to thank the Boxing 5 team that's always there, and they're not always in the interviews and there, but they're always at the tournaments. I mean, while this is going on, we've got this tournament on Saturday, so we've had to put that in place, and you have your obstacles. But there's 10 fights on Saturday. I mean, and the response we've been getting, and the everyone that's so excited, the youngsters getting the gowns for the first time, so these are all things that is part of that journey they're starting, and we just, as I say, we're blessed to be part of it, and thank you to my partners, Thank you to all the guys in the background. Thank you to you who puts all this out, and to the boxing fans. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to seeing you at the next tournament.